Let me figure that out.
Right on. Thank you. And then feel free to go. Normally I just love looking at people. I was onboarding in a role, and the person that was onboarding me, whoever the mentor was using an app where I couldn't see them while they were doing the onboarding, and I made them change the app. I'm like, I need to be able to see you to onboard properly because I need to see your facial expressions and everything. So we ended up changing it to like Zoom or something, but I need to see people when I'm talking to them. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen just one more time here. Share. I think it's this window here somewhere. Sorry, folks, just give me one quick second here. Okay, I think it's this one here. Just give me a thumbs up when you can see it. Yeah, okay, cool. So what we'll do here is we'll start with the appreciation. If your card comes up, just go ahead and voice it over. If there's anything else that you want to just kind of add as an add-on, feel free to do that. So we'll start with the first one here. Do I need to make this bigger? Sorry, go ahead, Nika.
I just didn't put my name, but the first one was mine.
Oh, that's really cool. I think it'll show the name on there as well.
Should I read?
Yeah. Just voice over. If there's any add-ons, just go and add those.
So I appreciate office hours and the time mentors put into helping us. I additionally appreciate code reviews and peer pressure. It's all true. Thank you so much.
I appreciate how the mentors, Gabrielle, and the other team were able to answer any blockers I had in a swift manner. Therefore, I was able to continue my work without any delays.
Shout out to Asan and Nika for helping Warren and I through the issue that we were having this week. It was helpful to just have a third set of eyes as we were working through that and weren't sure if we were on the right track.
All right. Let's see. I think I've really appreciated the amount of teamwork that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. Sometimes it's hard to talk to people you don't know and like point out things or like, just rubber duck with them. And so I've really appreciated that when people post problems that they have, that the other team also comments and like I really appreciate all of the comments actually on the code reviews because it shows that you're not just like, hey, yeah, this looks good, but it's like you actually took the time to think about how the other team is approaching it. And that's how you get the maximum amount of collab. So I'm really happy to see all of that, y'all.
Yeah, I just said just really appreciated people asking for help in the team channel and then just like other people hopping on the thread, like if they had any ideas. Yeah, I think in general, just being able to ask in a public channel is good for visibility and also like someone else in that group might know. So yeah, keep it up.
I appreciated Warren for being a great code partner this week, and I especially appreciated how we were able to break up the tasks and talk through our process as we went along.
Oh, this is just a shout out for the other two mentors. Very, very fast on replying to Slack. By the time I'm like, oh, look, there's a question. Oh, look, there's already an answer. So appreciate you all watching this Slack class.
I think it's the only one I left in this section here. I love when people are loud. I love when people are open. And just if any blockers come up, just keep communicating, keep being loud about them because we left moving forward, people forward. So thank you for the great work. It shows real ownership over the work that you've taken on, and I love seeing that.
This is me. I appreciate the swift response of mentors. Shout out to Asan, Jennifer, and Danielle for being so quick and helpful with their feedback and suggestions for refinement. And thanks again to Jennifer for walking us through the roadblocks we were facing during the office hours call. And we as in Nika and I. So thank you again to all of you. And also thank you to Nika for being such an amazing and responsive collaborator, like always available with messages or suggestions that she saw in my code. So that was just so awesome and definitely pushed me to be more responsive as well. So
I just want to thank Gabrielle for being a fun and collaborative partner this week. So we were able to finish it really fast, our issues.
Right on. Did I miss anything? Did I skip over anything? Is there any walk-ons? Any other appreciation anyone wants to share that wasn't noted down? Feeling good about it? I absolutely love seeing the appreciation. Nicely done, folks. Let's talk about what went well.
Yeah, everyone got all their tasks completed on time. So I think that was great.
Love that.
Yeah, I think the communication in Slack when we were having issues this week went really well, so keep it up.
This one was mine. I was going to say, I absolutely love our team defaulting to transparency and just keeping everything in the public channel. I think it's very easy to go in DMs, and that's where knowledge kind of gets isolated. So even if a team is not working on a specific issue, just having context of it from another team in the public channel, I think that's amazing. So keep that going.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that teamwork went great and I really appreciated everything, like the people posting and, I love to, maybe I'm a little noisy, but I totally love to, collaborate and figure things out. And I really love that. And I totally love that Jennifer helped us during the, uh, our, me and Dulex issue. It was incredibly educational and informational, 100%. And I also wanted to say that I appreciate Warren and Dilek for working with me and truly I felt the peer pressure, and I wanted to do better. And I totally was going back to the code and looking at it and I learned and I have still a lot to learn. Thank you for the teamwork.
That's awesome.
yep, just echoing Nika's commentary. Yep, tackling issues collaboratively, just being able to assess what we need to do and scheduling it out to make sure that we're able to get it done on time, and we were successful in doing that. So yeah, very happy about it.
Awesome. All right. So if you ever see me do a squiggly on something, it's because I'm like communication or whatever word I put there. So basically for me, I know it's hard in the beginning to be vulnerable and ask for help as soon as you run into a roadblocker, but it's actually one of the best things that you can ever do for your career. No matter what your level is, to try some things out on your own. And as soon as you feel like, hey, I've been working on this for like half an hour, maybe I need some help. That's like the exact right thing that everybody has been doing so far, is being loud and saying, hey, I need help, and like not being ashamed to do it. So I appreciate and really just feel very, how did I describe it? Happy that we've created a space that people can do this in.
I love that. I have a walk on. I was going to say, it seems like Jennifer's office hours went really well, and now I feel like I really missed out. So for everyone that was there, thank you for being there. And then next time, just record so I can also learn. But thank you for hosting those, Jennifer. Awesome. Any other walk-ons? Feeling good about it? Awesome. Oh, go ahead, Nika.
I appreciate our son's office hours as well. I felt like I came a bit unprepared and I didn't have enough questions, but I totally appreciate that he made me look into the documentation. And that's like one weakest point, that I do not read the documentation enough. And I appreciate the hell out of that as well. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Awesome, thank you. Awesome. Let's move over to what could be improved, which is equally as important. It's great to know what's going really well, but we also have to be really critical about how we can do better. So let's get started. Maybe this is
Yeah.
Danielle's.
Did your screen
Yeah, I'm
change?
not seeing the screen change. Maybe it's
Oh,
on my end.
Yeah, me either.
uh-oh. Sorry, folks. Where am I seeing that? Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah,
That's
there
on
we go.
me.
Okay.
Thanks for the call out.
No worries. Yeah, I think this might be a theme in what other people said, but like, yeah, just if we could get PRs and reviewed a little sooner, and then so we can get that code in, just so we can be better prepared for our demos that we have on Sunday. More of like a nitpick, but could be better in my opinion.
Yeah, what Danielle said, I approved the PR on Saturday this week, and I should have approved it a little earlier, like on Friday, end of day Friday. So yeah.
Yeah, just tagging on to what Danielle and Warren said, keeping up with the deadlines a little bit better. I already put them in my calendar for next week, so I'll keep on top of those.
Yeah, I feel like I do not test enough, do not look into my console enough, and I noticed that I keep on noticing the issues kind of a bit late. So I feel like I need to work on delivering the regular production code instead of noticing little mistakes.
Yeah, just to be a better collaborator and to be up to speed with everybody else. Just ran myself up to speed with React since I've been coding in Java and Kotlin for the past 5 months. So
This is not any different from what everyone else has said, but I think trying to think about it as getting the most feedback I can on my PR means like the most opportunity for us to collaborate. And so that's why we're here to collaborate. So if we can just start the conversations earlier, even having up draft PRs if you're still have a work in progress would be a great way to kind of facilitate the transparency that we're already doing a really good job of doing.
That's awesome. I was just going to add one more in line with just what everyone else said. I think draft MRs are really great. The other things that are really great as well is if you feel like your timeline is changing or there's any blockers to you not being able to get that MR up for the other team, just keep them in the loop. Just be like, hey, heads up. We're just adding this one new thing that we got a comment for. We're just adding it, and then it should be ready. And then give them a timeline and see what works for them as well, right? Because I know you're working in your smaller team and then you have another team that's going to do the review, but looping them in early for like, hey, we should be able to get this out for you at this time. How does that sound? I think that'll be really cool as well, just to make sure everyone's in the same loop. Cool. Any other walk-ons for what could be improved? Feeling good? Thumbs up? Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Action items.
Yeah, I just noticed there's should be a pretty quick fix. Duplicate React Router DOM import. And yeah, I was just thinking that'd be a good action item if we want to like convert that into an issue, and then someone can just take it on. I think basically just collaborating so we don't collide, so not multiple people doing it at the same time, but should be quick.
Oh, that I did have a follow-up question on how do you want to deal with that, but yeah, just create an issue and then pull a branch from that issue, and then just do it like any other issues we have.
Yeah, I think if you go like X out of the overlay, and if you like where it says like draft dot dot dot, if you click on the dot dot dot, you can convert it to an issue.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Fancy magical.
Yeah. So if someone wants to tackle that issue, just assign it to yourself and then see if you can make that happen. I love that.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
think that'd
Danielle.
be the easiest. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, so my action item is related to my what needs to get improved. So I just a couple of hours ago opened my console and I saw that there's actually an error that React is throwing. So basically in the form there are a default value and a value regular value. So React throws an error, and I think we can easily fix it by removing the default value.
Would you advocate for us to also turn that into an issue? right now?
This is just like, and we can decide this as a group if this is something that we want to do. But something I did notice this week when I was reviewing code is that some files did have kind of spacing and formatting all over the place. It's not an issue if we decide that we just want to open the whole file and take a look at it that way. But sometimes, most of the way that I actually review PRs is through the diff viewer on GitHub itself. And so sometimes if there's like weird spacing and stuff, it's a little bit difficult to read. So this is kind of an open question. I don't think we have to make this an issue right away, of how we want to tackle formatting in the files. But yeah, that's just one suggestion from me.
Yeah, that's a really good call out. Just by a show of hands, who's using VS Code for the coding? I think most of us are, right? If you are using VS Code, so our code base already has a prettier file. So a prettier file is what kind of aligns the team on how the formatting should look. If you're using VS Code, if you just download the VS Code extension into your VS Code, it'll actually read the file. And so as soon as you save that file, it'll use the settings in prettier to format that file. So if that's something that's maybe not happening, go ahead and try that approach, because that's the really cool thing about prettier. It just makes sure that the team is aligned on formatting. So that should hopefully help. If not, then office hours is great for that kind of stuff as well. Sorry, question. Yeah, go ahead.
I know about Prettier, but I personally don't really like it because it adds a formatting where I dislike it. So I have a question. Do you know if I can add it to like a project?
Yeah,
No.
really great
Yeah.
question. I think in the settings you can isolate it to a specific project. So I think that setting does exist. You may need to do a little bit of Googling, but I think it is something that you should be able to kind of filter down to the specific file that you want.
Perfect. Thank
Cool. Awesome. Any other walk-ons before we continue? Feeling good? Awesome. How was everyone's first restro? What do you guys think about this? Yeah, awesome. I love that. I absolutely love retros. I think they're incredible at just gauging how the team is doing and just reflecting on what we could do better. Awesome. Over to you, Danielle here.
So we got about 20 minutes left. Jennifer, do you think that's enough time for you to do your thing? Okay. Yeah, we'll have
Yeah, I
Jennifer
think,
do a thing.
yeah, I'll
Yeah,
try to
go
go
ahead.
through the slides a bit more quickly. And then because I think the demo at the end is probably the most useful for everybody to visualize these concepts. So, and before I start, I just want to preface that I am not by any means an accessibility expert. I would actually probably call myself an accessibility novice or noob. And so if anybody has any sort of feedback they want to give or any pointers they want to give at any time throughout this presentation, that would be highly, highly appreciated. So let me open up Chrome and share my screen. Perfect. Can you all see this? This looks a bit. All right. I'm not sure how to share my screen for the slideshow version, and so we're gonna just go with this for right now, if that's okay with everybody. All right. So today's presentation is going to be on accessibility, and specifically the what, the why, and the how. One of our founders is actually very big on accessibility, and so this was actually one of my favorite learning modules when I first joined Collab Lab, because before Collab Lab, I had zero idea on anything about accessibility and what it would entail. So just for everyone's knowledge, accessibility is often referred to as ALMY. So if you ever see any like posts online or things like that like reference this hashtag or reference this in general, this is what they're talking about. So we only got 20 minutes. So there's a lot of words on these different slides. And I'm just going to try to paraphrase as best as I can for these different slides. So basically, what is accessibility? And it's an inclusive practice so that we ensure that people who might have different barriers to using technology are accounted for, and that we think about them when we're creating our website. So it creates equal access for all different types of users. And so what's really great about this is the W3C actually has a working group that's dedicated to web accessibility so that the standards are always being checked and updated. There's also requirements, at least by the US government, and I'm not sure about like other places around the world since we also run a Collab lab in other places in the world. But for certain websites, you are required to make your websites accessible. So that's a really great thing. So one of the main reasons that we want to think about disability access to websites is because oftentimes when you're able-bodied, or however you would like to describe that, you will use a keyboard and a mouse, or just be able to use touch, and you're able to visually see things change on the website. But a lot of other people, maybe people who aren't able to see, or they're unable to be able like to use, like, what do you call it? They can't hear and things like that. There's a lot of different things going on in different websites that they actually wouldn't be able to do. And so they use a lot of different assistive technologies. And I think if you're on social media a lot like I am, I think some of the most interesting videos I've seen is people using different screen readers, or people who are blind or legally blind using screen readers to navigate through like different like Twitter or social media or something like that. And it sounds to me like a, what do you call it? Like a podcast being fast forwarded 10x. So you can imagine that their experience using a website is very different from what we might experience every day. And so thinking about how everybody uses the internet is actually a good way to make sure that we can make things accessible to everyone. So the list down here is just kind of the different screen reader apps that you can use, and you can see that you can kind of test these out on your own computer. I've turned it on before, and it startled me a little bit on accident, but it's a nice way for you to kind of put yourselves in other people's shoes to see how someone would use these different assistive technologies. Right, so we're moving on to the why now. Why would we want to do this? I think some people get caught up in that, oh, this might not be like the majority of users. I don't have to think about all these different aspects to make my website accessible. But that's just kind of like, why would you think like that? It's the right thing to do. Everybody deserves to use all of the resources that are available on the internet. So why not make it just accessible for everyone? No brainer, in my opinion. It's also, you can click this link, but depending on your website, you may be legally obligated to make your website accessible. So don't let the government come knocking at your door. Just think about it proactively. So this is a very interesting stat, and I want to move everyone's face over so I don't, there we go. More people in the US access websites with assistive technology than live in Canada. So if you think about it, what I just said earlier is like, oh, the majority of people don't use assistive technologies for websites or access them in an alternative way. That's actually wrong. And there's a very, very large population that uses the internet this way. So we'll see on the next slide, but the estimates are about 20% of website visitors have some sort of disability, and we'll kind of see what kind of disabilities we can think about that users might be experiencing. And then even if users are not disabled in some way, making them accessible generally makes it accessible for everyone. So I think it's just a win-win-win. So why would you not think about it? Woo. All right, so this next slide just kind of shows you the different disabilities that some people might experience. And what people often forget is there's a spectrum and like different things can be inhibited for you. And also this could kind of happen to anyone because having a disability when you're using devices, like if you've ever broken your arm, you all of a sudden have a harder time using your cell phone or something like that. So I think having this visualization right here to show you what kind of disabilities there can be, and it might be situational, kind of helps you think about how you can make your website accessible. All right. So how? So we've talked about like what it is, why you should do it, because it's a win-win-win, like I said, but how would you do this? So a lot of technologies like the screen readers we talked about earlier actually operate by going through the HTML and reading a lot of the properties to the user. So the number one thing that you can do to make your website more accessible is actually at the code level to use semantic HTML. So I don't know, early on, I might have been guilty of this. You make a div and you're like, I want to make that div clickable. No, no, no. Make button, please. Okay. Because for many reasons, but this is one of them. If someone's using a screen reader and all of a sudden something's clickable, you could slap on an ARIA label, which we'll talk, or ARIA attribute, which we'll talk about later. But using semantic HTML actually gives context to these different screen readers, so the user knows how to interact with the website. When you're posting images, I love to personally post GIFs. And now in all my GIFs, like if I post them on GitHub, I go out of my way to make sure that they have a description. This is good for multiple reasons, because people who are using screen readers again can know what the image is. And also, if your image doesn't load, it actually can leave a description there for you of what should have been there in the first place. So, like I said, win, win, win. Okay, so ARIA attributes. And I want to make sure before I keep blah, 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 I want to make sure we're still good on time. I covered my clock. Can someone thumbs up me or drop in the chat or something how much time we got left? Let's see. 7 minutes, 7 minutes. All right, okay. So I will not let's keep going here. But ARIA attributes are basically just HTML properties that you can add in that screen readers and other assistive technologies use to better describe what the interaction is supposed to be with that HTML element. So the other thing is, one of my pet peeves is if you're submitting a form or going through a website, you can't tab through all the inputs and then press enter when you submit the form. Some people are unable to use a mouse, so being able to have all the content reachable via keyboard is great. Interactive elements have a reasonable target size, and then make sure the ordering makes sense of content on your page. Color contrast is actually a huge one, and I'm probably gonna go skip to the demo after this really quickly to show you kind of what tools you can use to check all of these different things. And the biggest thing that I have to remind people on my team as well is do not only use color to signify different state, because a lot of people are colorblind and it's really hard to differentiate just based on color. So in the interest of time, I'm gonna skip a little bit over these descriptions about the ARIA tags. You can go read about these as well, but you can see like these are used by the screen reader, so you can kind of check the state and things like that of the different HTML elements. This is exactly what I showed you not to do. Please do not use divs as buttons. Even if you can label it as a button, it is still a fake button. Please don't do that. All right, and then this is also a list of really good tools that you can use to audit the accessibility on your site. All right, demo time. With the last 5 minutes left, let me try to move everyone's face. I don't know. Working on a 13-inch laptop. And I don't have enough screen. Let me see. Oh, okay. It's still there. Oh. 1 second. Let me try to stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna go ahead and just share my entire screen. I think that would be easier. All right, everybody. I'm trying to move your faces to below. All right. So we have a few different demo sites. If you open up this presentation yourself, and I can leave the link back in the Slack that we have. There's if you go to this demo part, if you open up the comments down here, there's actually a few different interesting links here where you can see the different demo sites that we'll go over together. And then these are all the different demo sites that have intentional accessibility errors, so you can see what not to do. So, oh goodness, move the tools here. The one I like to see the most is this one right here. And let me close the insides here and let me turn off all of these things. Visually, for someone who will come to the website without any assistive technology, nothing looks too offensive here. Like the visual hierarchy of things are generally okay. I am not the biggest fan of this contrast right here, but we can have a general idea of how to use this website. But you can download different tools like this Accessibility Insights for Web Chrome tool. And then I'll also show you some tools that are actually in the Chrome if you inspect for accessibility. So you can all see, you can test your colors here. You can turn off all the colors to see if the contrast is acceptable, if someone's colorblind, if they're even going to be able to tell how to use your website. I think one of the examples here, like we talked about color for having state here, there is a label, but you can see it's visually difficult to see the difference between beginner, intermediate, and advanced if it's just based on color. So that's why we advocate not relying on colors for state. You can also see with this tool here, you can check to see if there's any accessible names. So we do have some nice names here, as you can see, but if someone's reading this, we don't actually know what we're editing because it just says edit. So something along the lines of like edit chocolate cake or something like that would help someone use these different functionalities a lot better. Also, if you notice, these come before the cooked chocolate cake. So if you're seeing prep time, cook time, difficulty, it'll say chocolate cake as you're going through the items. But if you can add like an additional title saying this is the recipe for this, because there's actually no real indicator that these are recipe cards. All of a sudden you just start encountering all of this information. So this is another cool way to use this to watch, just double check to see if anything could be confusing if you're trying to navigate through the website, just using off of labels. So I'm gonna open up actually. Oh, one more thing I want to show is if you click on this needs review thing, it's automated to check one. It can actually highlight different areas for you that maybe you should consider changing. So you can see here, as we discussed earlier, there was no alt text for this image. So someone going in and looking at this recipe card, let's say through like an assistive technology, has no idea what the heck this image is for. Same thing here, it flagged that this color contrast is really low. So someone who actually might be colorblind or who have a visual impairment might have a harder time seeing this label. So the last thing, and I know I'm at time, that I want to show is that if I turn this off, if you open up your Chrome tools, let me see if I can go into everything. But actually in the bottom here, you have this accessibility tab. Can you all see this? I know it's kind of small. You can enable the full page accessibility tree here, and then you can also show source order. And what that does is that it can actually help you see what order that the elements are going to be read to the user. And so when you see them visually, it would make sense that you would want things to be read top down. Now, if I can go in and actually find items here, you can see that actually the numbers in the corner and the boxes tell you it's 1, 2, 3. And then when we go in, ordered list, making sure that things are in order. But if you go up to, where's the nav bar? I was just clicking around earlier, trying to see what was going on. And if you open up the nav bar, the ordered list, like you can see that there's 4 buttons, but all of a sudden there's a spacer there that someone had used part of the list as a spacer. So someone who uses an assistive technology for this website will have a hard time here because they'll think that there's like a 5th item to the navigation bar. So there's a lot of gotchas that we do, or like we put, I like to call them phantom elements to make things space out correctly on our websites and things like that. And this is why it's so important to try to maintain like how you use HTML semantically and use CSS more creatively on your existing elements instead of adding in like random divs here and there to achieve your styling, because it can just make things all the more confusing. So that ends my demo today for accessibility. I hope that this has been a good just introduction to the topic if you've never heard of it before, and kind of shows you, please consider accessibility when you're creating your websites because it's only a win-win-win for everybody. Any questions? That's exactly how Warren, that's exactly how I felt after the first time I saw this presentation. I was like, wow, so many things I did not consider before.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
If anyone has any questions after the fact, definitely ask in our chat. I honestly don't really care how loud it is, so I'm good with the noisy channel. Yeah, I guess other announcements are this week I'm going to be the office hours and the code reviewer. So I will review your PRs once both of the individuals on the other team reviewed it. I put a thing in our Slack. It'll be Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And I put a Zoom link in there. It's different from this one. So make sure you get the right Zoom link. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yeah, and we'll just lean on the pair bot this week. I had already assigned the 2 pairs. So if you go into GitHub, you should see that you're assigned an issue with another individual. Do your best to parse what it's saying. If you do need any like clarification questions or like, what about this edge case? It didn't cover that. Definitely ask, and a mentor will respond to you. So sorry we don't have time to more thoroughly go through the issues in this meeting, but yeah, I don't want to keep people for too long. But I think that's about it. So cool. Yeah, just let us know if you have any questions and we will answer you. So good luck this week, and let's help each other out. So see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.